Yet another woke, divisive video game has hit the market. That's right. And you know what? Just not surprised at this point. We haven't covered a gaming story in a couple of days, so I thought I'd grab this one and chew on it a little bit because I'm not surprised. This game is going to have a major fail. All the shill sites are out doing the shilling that they normally do, but the people that are telling you the truth are doing that in a very effective way. We're going to start first with South of Midnight and what IGN thinks, and then we're going to go through the history that led up to the release of this game, and the fact that this checks all the boxes from Microsoft after they tore apart a studio that used to make some really good stuff. Most of the devs are now gone, and the dev team that's in charge over there is giving you woke games. So, here we go. Now, before we get started, a quick reminder that I actually run a gaming channel along with Jonas J. Campbell. It's called That Game Place, a partnership with That Park Place, which allows us to cover some of the journalistic sides of things when it comes to games. Not just opinions and reviews and even some gameplay from time to time, but also the actual information about what's coming out and why and what's happening within the industry. So do check out That Game Place, and while you're at it, make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. On that note, let's get to it. So, South of Midnight review came out from IGN, and it reminded me that this is a game I was not looking forward to at all, because it was already chock full of compromises made to the almighty DEI and woke folks in order to make it acceptable. And once Microsoft came in, swooped in, and acquired the studio, everything was doomed. A game 7 years in the making is out, and outside of IGN and a few of the shill media, most people are not clamoring for it. Even The Guardian smashed down this particular video game as it was in a gender-swapped hero that takes the racist approach to storytelling. And I'm not overstating things. When you get into it, and over at Reddit, you can see that the South of Midnight devs are talking about the DEI backlash, black representation, all of that other stuff. And look, I mean, there can be games based on any type of protagonist. It's just what are they trying to say at the end of the day that I think most people find objectionable. And you can skip most of the empty praises right now and go to the Spectre of Hate to read, well, her input. You see, the rumor began in March of this year and is still rallying cry amongst right-wing gaming influencers. Oh, wow, okay. On X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, and the darker, even more hateful corners of the internet. Well, the game is out, I guess. I don't know. But the rumor is not a rumor. It's full of DEI and wokeness. It's funny how it's considered hateful when it's not them doing it, but when it comes to the hate of Stellar Blade Black Myth Wukong received, it was rightful criticism. In other words, criticism is hate now, or maybe so, or maybe over to those over at Kotaku. But in the comments, we start to get a different picture. Place your bet, folks. How close to release date do you think it's going to get before they claim to receive death threats? Well, that was 4 months ago, and let me tell you, I think that's just part of the playbook by now. This is all that they try to hit back on. This game is not going to be beloved, and the studio itself has kind of taken a major hit. In fact, in looking at Compulsion Games over at Glassdoor, they're not even like around 70% loved of their own employees. In fact, those numbers are going down on the regular, and a lot of people on the way out the door are exiting for a reason. The good things they have to say about is that their money was great and the bonuses were sick, but the cons being toxic positivity. When you see toxic positivity labeled in somebody's con of a company they work for, what they're saying is they're unwilling to recognize that what they're doing has a net negative effect. In fact, it may be an extraordinarily extreme net negative effect. And in the case of Compulsion Games, that seems to be the case. A lot of the devs that worked on some very successful projects no longer work there. In fact, the majority don't. And a lot of them told the truth on the way out the door. In fact, a lot of that conversation from the devs that walked away actually went and filtered through Grums, our friend over there that, basically developed some of the best games ever. And he says, documentary for Sweet Baby Inc. game South of Midnight just dropped. That documentary talked about all kinds of things, including the fact that the videos opens with talk about empathy for people who aren't like you, which is always a woke talking point. And the video game ends with a heavy talk about the importance of representation and make of that what you will. Well, I already have. The devs paint a picture of a passion project by the creative director who grew up in the South, gone awry after Microsoft money showed up. The project is in a poor state of development, good devs with good intentions being hamstrung by poor hires and promotions not based on merit. We already know where that comes from. And very poor community engagement. One of the the community managers, which we've got a story about, really attacked gamers, especially white male ones. That's not a good sign. And there are many good people there, according to this, documentary. The recap of what insiders have told Grums were this. We know the character, Hazel, was race swapped after SBI, that's Sweet Baby Inc., and Microsoft came on board. Anytime you see SBI anywhere, it's always a bad sign. And anytime Microsoft is involved with something from now going forward, just be prepared for the bridge, which is just DEI with a new name. The team that created their past celebrated title, We Happy Few, which is a game that got a lot of positive pub, is mostly gone, leaving after being disillusioned about changes after the Xbox, MS, and SBI involvement, studio politics, and more, which means a lot of people came in and took jobs they didn't deserve and tried to push a lot of this woke ideology on the current staff that was already in place. The community manager is known to be openly racist, which we're going to get to a story on that in just a moment. And a quick glance at the company page she manages reveal virtually no info about the game and consist of endless retweets of DEI-related matters and promotion about other games and companies. My thoughts. This is a beautiful-looking game, and I can really sense the passion in the creative director's thoughts. I really hope SBI and MS haven't ruined the game with DEI policies. We now know that they did. And that said, I don't think we should support any game with SBI involvement. Identify as non-binary. And there you go. Don't buy it. And I get it. Sources, multiple confirmed insiders from Compulsive Games, ex-post via CM for South of Midnight show what the potential could have been, but it isn't anymore. It's done. And of course, everybody here going back to November of 2024 is saying just, don't bother. So this is several months ago now, and we are looking at a game that likely has already failed. But finally, we get to this story coming out of John F. Trent, That Park Place. Compulsion Games community manager reportedly protected despite declaring hatred of gamers and claiming that white male gamers were a mistake. That's not very kind. And look, gender swapped or not, concept swap or not, pushing of DEI and woke or not, I'm afraid that anything tied to Xbox is going to be this way for a very long time. Report that Katie Robinson is being protected despite declaring she hates gamers and previously claimed white gamers were a mistake. I don't know how you keep your job after something like that. Robinson, who announced that back in September that she becomes the community manager for Compulsion Games, wrote on X on February 14th, honestly, I hate gamers. And there you go. February 14th, 2024. This is all you need to know about the modern games industry with any company that dives into DEI and gets in a partnership with anything related to SBI, because even these other consulting studios are complete trash because they're only going to fill the game with narrative that is contrary to the interest of gamers. And those are the people you're supposed to be selling to. On the whole, I'm not ever going to touch this game. South of Midnight was not made for me. I don't know who it was made for. tiny little audience that doesn't exist. Modern audience don't exist. And I think that we're going to get to the point really soon where game studios recognize this and Hollywood studios recognize this and decide to maybe come back to reality for a change. I'm hoping that what I keep hearing relentlessly about GTA 6 is wrong, but unfortunately that's going to be a game that I'm going to have to buy to find out and then review for you, so you don't have to buy it until you're convinced it's not woke. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Be sure to check out that you're still subscribed to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button while you're down there. Turn on all notifications. Share the video out there. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya for real.